She spat, right there on the polished marble, inches from his steel-toed work boots. "You make me sick," Bethany hissed, her voice dripping with venom. "Get out! Now! Before I have you arrested!" She thought she was screaming at some filthy day laborer who'd wandered into her pristine corporate lobby. She thought he was nothing. She was wrong. The man standing before her, covered in concrete dust, holding blueprints in his daughter's hand, wasn't the janitor. He was the man who owned every square inch of the building she was about to lose everything trying to buy. And in approximately 8 minutes, she would realize exactly how catastrophic her mistake was. 9 minutes earlier, the lobby of Meridian Tower was cathedral quiet until Bethany Lancaster exploded through the revolving doors. CEO Apex Holdings, running 43 minutes late for the deal that would either save her company or bury it. Her thumbs attacked her phone screen. Her $900 heels clicked like gunshots on marble. She didn't see the corner coming. Neither did he. Crash. Hot espresso detonated between them. It painted the floor, soaked his boots, splattered her white Louboutins. Bethany's gasp was theatrical, furious. The man, tall, black, wearing a faded orange safety vest, immediately crouched down, his 5-year-old daughter frozen behind him. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry," he said, his voice maddeningly calm. "Are you hurt?" He reached for her shoe with a handkerchief. That's when she kicked. Hard. "Don't you dare touch me," Bethany shrieked, jerking her foot back. "Look what you did. This suit cost more than you'll make in 6 months." The man, Troy, stood slowly. He pulled his daughter close, shielding her small body with his leg. "It was an accident," he said evenly. "You walked into me." Bethany's laugh was acid. "I walked into you. Please, look at yourself. You don't even belong here. What are you doing? Panhandling? Casing the place for copper wire?" She leaned in, close enough that he could smell her perfume mixing with her rage. "This is a professional building, not a homeless shelter. Clean this up before I have security throw you into traffic." Troy stared at her. His jaw tightened. His grip on the blueprint tube went white-knuckle. He'd lived this scene 100 times. Different faces, same script. Black man, work clothes. Must be the help. Must be inferior. Must be dismissed. He exhaled slowly, for his daughter's sake. "I'm not the janitor," Troy said quietly, "and I'm not cleaning up your mess." Bethany's face went crimson. No one told her no. "Excuse me?" She yanked out her phone, fingers flying. "I don't think you understand how power works. I'm a CEO. I'm here to purchase this building. And you? You're a liability." She snapped her fingers at the security guard near the desk. "Hey, why is this man still here? He assaulted me, ruined my property. I want him removed." The guard, an older man named Gene, looked up sharply. He knew exactly who Troy was. He started toward them. "Mr. Har," Troy raised one hand, a silent signal. "Stop. Let her keep going." Gene hesitated, then stepped back. Bethany turned back to Troy, smiling like a predator. "See? You're done. I bet you've got a record, don't you? Men like you always do." She glanced down at Troy's daughter, who was crying silently now. "And raising a child in this environment? Honestly, someone should call CPS. That little girl deserves better than a father who drags her into lobbies to start fights." That was the line. Troy felt something cold and lethal ignite in his chest. Insult him? Fine. Insult his work? Whatever. But his daughter? He crouched down, ignoring Bethany entirely. He wiped a tear from his daughter's cheek. "It's okay, Naomi," he whispered. "This lady's just having a really bad day. We're going upstairs now. Daddy's got a meeting." He stood back up, towering over Bethany. His voice dropped to something dangerous. "You're here to buy this building?" "I am," Bethany spat. "I'm meeting the owner, Mr. Harrison. And when I tell him he's letting trash wander his lobby, he'll fire whoever lets you in." Troy nodded slowly. "Well then, don't let me keep you." He took Naomi's hand and walked straight toward the executive elevators. Bethany scoffed. "Hey, you can't use those. Those are VIP only." Troy pressed his palm to the scanner. Beep. Green light. The elevator doors slid open. He stepped inside, and as the doors closed, Bethany stood there, confused, furious, and completely unaware she just signed her own death warrant. 8 minutes later, Bethany was composed now, hair fixed, coffee wiped away, sitting at the head of a gleaming conference table in the penthouse, surrounded by her lawyers and financial team. Across from them, the board of Meridian Enterprises. This was it, the deal that would make her untouchable. So, Bethany said, flashing her practice smile, where's this elusive Mr. Harrison? My time is expensive. One of the board members, a silver-haired woman in tortoiseshell glasses, checked her watch. Mr. Harrison is extremely punctual. He inspects sites personally before major sales. He values integrity. Bethany laughed, checking her reflection in her phone. Integrity, right. As long as the building's sound, I don't care about the sentimental stuff. I'm gutting the lobby anyway. Too open. Let's in the wrong kind of people. She leaned toward her VP, stage whispering. You wouldn't believe what happened downstairs. Some construction thug practically attacked me. Had his kid with him too. Pathetic. Her VP chuckled nervously. Did you call security? Of course, I put him in his place. Someone had to teach him about hierarchy. Bethany's eyes glittered. These people think they can walk anywhere. The entitlement is unreal. The board members exchanged glances. They knew Mr. Harrison was a single father. They knew he often came straight from job sites. Suddenly, click, the double doors opened. Ah, the silver-haired woman said. Here he is. Bethany stood, smoothing her jacket. She expected a 60-year-old white man in Tom Ford. She expected someone like her. Instead, Troy walked in. No safety vest now. Just a black t-shirt that showed every line of muscle he'd earned on construction sites. Same dusty jeans, blueprint tube in one hand, and perched on his hip holding a juice box, Naomi. Bethany's smile crumbled. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. What? She whispered. What is he doing here? She spun toward the board, laughing wildly. Is this a joke? Security! I told you to get rid of him! She jabbed a finger at Troy. How did you get up here? Did you follow me? Are you stalking me now? Troy didn't speak. He walked calmly to the head of the table. The board members stood, all of them. Good morning, Mr. Harrison, they said in unison. Bethany's world tilted. Her hand dropped. Mr. Harrison? She breathed. Troy set Naomi down in the big leather chair. He handed her a coloring book. Be good for Daddy, 5 minutes. Okay, sweet girl. Okay, Daddy. Then slowly, Troy turned to face Bethany. The silence was suffocating. Bethany was shaking. Her brain couldn't process it. The construction worker, the thug, the man she'd humiliated. He was the owner. He was the architect. He was the billionaire she'd been desperate to impress. But the vest, she stammered. The boots. Troy placed both hands on the table, leaned forward. I inspect my buildings personally, he said, his voice cold and absolute. I built this tower from the ground up. Every beam, every weld, every flaw. He locked eyes with her. And today I found a major flaw. Not in the building, in the buyer. Bethany tried to salvage it. Mr. Harrison, oh my God, I had no idea. You have to understand, it was a misunderstanding. I thought you were with the crew. It was just banter, a joke. Banter? Troy repeated. He walked around the table, toward her. You called me trash. You said I didn't belong. You said my daughter should be taken away. Bethany backed into her chair. I was stressed. The meeting, the traffic. I didn't mean it. I'm not racist. I have black friends. I donate to charities. You called security on me, Troy continued, his voice rising now. You looked at my skin and saw a criminal. You looked at my clothes and assumed I was poor. And because you thought I had no power, you treated me like garbage. He stopped directly in front of her, imposing, unyielding. That's not a misunderstanding, Bethany. That's who you are when you think no one's watching. Bethany looked around the room for help. Her own team stared at their papers. The board members stared at her with disgust. Please, she begged, voice cracking. This deal, my company needs this. I've leveraged everything. If we don't sign, I lose it all. Let's be professional. Business is business. Troy picked up the contract. Thick, binding, worth millions. He looked at it. Then he looked at Naomi, coloring a picture of a castle. You're right, Troy said softly. Business is business. And then he tore the contract in half. Bethany's gasp was inhuman. No, 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 no. Troy kept ripping. Again, again. Pieces of paper fluttered to the floor like snow. My daughter doesn't need your apology, Troy said. She needs a father who protects her from people like you. He pointed to the door, the same way she'd pointed at him downstairs. Get out of my building, Bethany, and don't ever set foot in one of my properties again. If you do, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. Bethany stared at the shredded contract, at the man she'd mocked, at the empire she'd just lost. She grabbed her bag, sobbing, and ran. Her team scrambled after her, apologizing frantically. The doors slammed shut. Silence. Troy exhaled. Rolled his shoulders. He walked over and picked up Naomi. Did the mean lady leave? She asked, looking up with wide brown eyes. Troy kissed her forehead. Yeah, baby. She's gone. She won't bother us again. He walked to the window, looked out over the skyline he'd built with his own hands. He wasn't a statistic. He wasn't a victim. He was a father, a creator, a man who knew his worth. And today he'd reminded the world. You can't judge a builder by his boots. Bethany lost her company 4 days later. Troy kept building, because real power isn't what you wear. It's how you treat people who can do nothing for you. And that lesson, it costs nothing to learn, but everything to ignore.